All right, and so then up next we have a featherweight bout coming up between Nik Lentz and our boy Evloev here. Nik Lentz, we've supposed to seen him I think 3 times now. We were supposed to see him against Mike Grundy on last weekend, Fight Island 7. That one got canceled, and so Nik Lentz is now taking on Evloev here. Seems like Evloev's willing to step in at any time, and nobody really wants to fight the man. So Nik Lentz has stepped up. You know, he's been around the block. We mentioned this last time, but you know, he's been in the UFC since 2009, and he's been fighting consistently. Then 2 of his notable losses come at the hands of your boy Charles Oliveira in that submission game, and most recently he lost to Arnold Allen by decision in February of last year. So, you know, Evloev, what can we say about this kid, man? He's 13-0 record. He's willing to take whatever fight that comes in his way, and he just deals with whoever's in his path. So he made his UFC back in 2019. He's 3-0 since then. He actually beat Mike Grundy back in July, who Nik Lentz was supposed to be fighting last weekend. You know, so not much I can say about this guy other than he's a beast. How do you see this one unfolding?
Yeah, so like the weird thing here is it's a classic triangle case, right? Like if you look at Evloev's last fight, who did he fight? Mike Grundy. And so the big thing for me is like, you know, I really liked what I saw from him, especially late in the fight. Grundy was able to land 6 takedowns. And so if there is something for, you know, Nik Lentz, the very, very big veteran in the UFC, to kind of take note of, is Evloev is a little bit susceptible to those takedowns. So if Nik Lentz can handle that striking, which is proving to be absolutely gorgeous to watch, he might be able to kind of sneak something in. What's funny to me about this fight, if you think back to the Mike Grundy fight that we were supposed to see, he might have been the heaviest favored dog going into the card. You know, Mike Grundy was the favorite, but if you look at probably anyone that was picking the fights, they were all willing to ride the juice on Nik Lentz. Unfortunately, that fight didn't transpire. Maybe our boy Solomon Grundy got whiff of that. But the big thing for me is like, I love the all-around ability, right, of Evloev. It's he can land 3 takedowns. You know, he does that per fight. So I think, right, you know, 68% takedown defense. If he wants to keep the fight standing, especially late if Nik Lentz is taking too much damage, that's going to be a big thing for him. We've seen him fight in the 3rd round. He looks fucking beautiful. Like, I don't think we're going to see any issues there. You know, like, I think that's the best part about Evloev's game, is that he's able to kind of keep that beautiful pressure striking going all fight. And what do we know about those beautiful pressure strikers, my man? Whew, are they not beautiful to watch? And also championship caliber fighters if their MMA game is sound. And I think that's where we're going to see kind of Evloev now finally take on maybe a much bigger name to the hardcore / you know, older, long time type of UFC fans when they see Nik Lentz. You know, that's a huge step in competition. Yep.
Yeah, you said it best. You know, someone's been around the game for a long time. This is where Evloev has to prove himself. So, you know, let's dive it right into those lines there. Where do you see the Vegas odds favoring here?
Yeah, so I mean, it's weird, right? Because like there doesn't seem to be too much of a height difference. I do like the reach and the length that Evloev fights with. It's just he lands at a much better rate, and I think in terms of like defending the strikes and everything, he just really does have what it takes to kind of move into the ranks and see what he does against much tougher fighters. I think if he's able to finish here in a big way, he might get that top, you know, 10, 15 type of fighter. But like the big thing for me is we watched him kind of dominate a tired Grundy in the 3rd round, and despite, you know, some chances and things like that, that was a hard fight for him to finish, right? So that's the part for me where I'm kind of tippy-toeing. Like, do we have any I'm sure for this card we must have some beautiful lines to kind of check out as we go here.
They've actually not posted them, the method of victories and stuff like that. Yeah. Okay. I'm assuming it's because the lines are fluctuating so much. Case in point in this one. So let's see if you can nail that opening line.
Yeah, I mean, let's actually dive right into it, because I'm even looking at Nik Lentz's like last 3 fights on his record, and you know, in terms of like top quality guys that I can see Evloev, you know, having good fights with, like David Teymur. That's a great example. 2018, you know, that's a tough loss, and David Teymur's a tough guy, especially at that point. Like that was a good run for him. And in this case, like I think Evloev's going to bring something very similar. You know, maybe a little bit more patient and a little bit more technical with that striking. You know, I think, and overall MMA game, like David Teymur's a great kickboxer, but I think Evloev has that like real scary, like total defensive package to continuously use his striking, which is what's making some of these deadly strikers what Dana White, Sean Shelby, all these guys want to see, right? And so let's dive right into that line. I'm going to go with, for how much hype is on this man, I have to go with something like minus 290.
Oh man, even that you kind of shot short, which is nuts. But he opened at a minus 400 favorite. This morning when I looked, it was minus 415. Right now, when I look, it's minus 450. Yo.
And there's no chance of a finish there.
No, there's no lines for that yet. But Lentz is a plus 350 right now.
And you know what's funny, Pies, is like now I'm starting to question. It's like, why do you do this to me when it comes to Vegas? You know, at the end of the day, it's like you had me at Grundy looking at that fight. You know, look, Lentz is a little bit more competitive there. But now you're throwing me numbers like that, and I'm like, well, I love this Evloev kid as a prospect, you know? How much have I talked about Movsar Evloev in cards where he's not even fighting anymore? Like, I'm still talking about him. So it's like one of those things where, I mean, I hope Nik Lentz makes it because nine canceled bouts, I think, since 2019, if I'm right. Let me just quickly double check my numbers here. Sorry, not nine, it's 6 canceled bouts since August 2019. That's still quite a bit in, less than a 2-year span. So for me, that's a big question mark when it comes to just, people either falling through or even him maybe. But I honestly think like this is a big fight and good on Evloev for getting at least a nice little veteran out of it all. I think that's huge.
Yeah, that value is insane, especially someone who basically has taken this fight on short notice, given the fact that Mike Grundy was supposed to be last.
So yeah, like the big thing for me is like if we haven't noticed, Pies, everybody stays ready now, right? Everyone thinks they're gonna get a call. You have Max Holloway being like, hey, anything happens in the sport, anything happens. You guys want the call? I'm gonna get the call. That's a terrible Max Holloway experience. I'll work on that. That was the first time I ever tried. I swear. I'm pretty good with impressions, anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean, you said it best, right? Even the moment he finished, he was like, if someone drops out next Saturday, give me a shout. I'll take that shit for sure. So Evloev, I'm sure, is ready. Lentz has obviously been ready for a long time, given all his canceled bouts, and it should be a good one, man. I'm curious to see if Lentz can hang with the prospect here.
Oh, yeah, man. Like, I mean, if you look at the last 2 fights we just talked about, like, this card is freaking stacked.
So that was an absolute treat. That wraps up UFC 257. Enjoy the card this weekend, guys. It's going to be a real treat. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe, hit that bell button. Make sure you give us a follow on Instagram, Twitter. All our information is below. And yeah, it's going to be a good one. Anything else you want to touch on, Siraj?
Happy birthday to the GOAT. Peace.
Later, guys.